feel lost, overwhelmed, and want to feel closer to home. Especially when you're so far away from the place you were born and raised, it feels comforting just to be reminded of childhood memories that you own and cherish. This is a passage from my all-time favorite book, a book I've read since I was just a kid, that makes me feel a little less homesick when all I want to do is just lay in my bed back home. This is Because of Winn-Dixie by Kate DiCamillo. My name is India Opal Baloney, and last summer, my daddy, the preacher, sent me to the store for a box of macaroni and cheese, some white rice, and 2 tomatoes. And I came home with a dog. This is what happened. I walked into the produce section of the Winn-Dixie grocery store to pick out my 2 tomatoes, and I almost bumped right into the store manager. He was standing there, all red-faced, screaming and waving his arms around. "Who let a dog in here?" he kept shouting. "Who let a dirty dog in here?" At first, I didn't see a dog. There was just a lot of vegetables rolling around on the floor, tomatoes and onions and green peppers. Then, the dog came running around the corner. He was a big dog, and ugly, and he looked like he was having a real good time. He skidded to a stop and smiled right at me. I had never before in my life seen a dog smile, but that is what he did. He pulled back his lips and showed me all of his teeth. The manager screamed, "Somebody grab that dog!" The dog went running over to the manager, wagging his tail and smiling. He stood up on his hind legs. You could tell all he wanted to do is get face to face with the manager and thank him for the good time he was having in the produce department. But somehow he ended up knocking the manager over. The manager must have had a bad day, because there, lying on the floor, in front of everyone, he started to cry. The dog leaned over him, real concerned, and licked his face. "Please," said the manager, "somebody call the pound." "Wait a minute," I hollered. "That's my dog. Don't call the pound." All the Winn-Dixie employees looked around and turned to me, and I knew I had done something big. And maybe stupid too, but I couldn't help it. I couldn't let that dog go to the pound. "Here, boy," I said. The dog stopped licking the manager's face and put his ears up in the air and looked at me, like he was trying to remember where he knew me from. "Here, boy," I said again. And then I figured that the dog was probably just like everybody else in the world, that he would want to get called by a name. Only I didn't know what his name was, so I just said the first thing that came into my head. I said, "Here, Winn-Dixie," and that dog came trotting over to me just like he'd been doing it for his entire life.